Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. Here we are outside on this gorgeous North Carolina day. My pirate taco, because why not? I don't feel like being indoors today. But we are here to discuss this, the Ruger 1022. Yes, we are going to do a rifle review. Why am I going to do a rifle review? Because it's a good rifle. I like it. It's mine. And why the heck shouldn't I do a rifle review on it? So, we'll be right back, and I'm going to go over 4 or 5 things I like about it, a couple things I don't like about it. We're not going to shoot it because I am in my neighborhood, and I don't feel like having the local cops called on me, because we do have postage stamp size yards. So I really don't want to shoot it and get the cops called on me. But, so other than that, we'll be right back. Okay. This is a Ruger 1022. This is my Ruger 1022. I bought this on my birthday this year. It was on sale. I want to say used, it was $199, and new was like $210 or something like that. So I was like, why the hell not? Let's just go ahead and get a new one instead of a used one. I got mine with the walnut stock, or walnut furniture, as some people say. I don't want to irritate people, so it has a complete wooden. This is the wooden one. It's even got a couple of scratches in it already. I've gotten it nicked up a few little bit. Now, this is light. I mean, it's barely. It might be 5 pounds. I don't have an actual scale out here to weigh it, measure it. English, first and worst language. But it may be 5 pounds, if that. So, it's a good starter rifle. It's actually something that you will probably keep with you for years if you owned one. And there's probably people out there that have owned Ruger 1022s forever, and probably passed it down to their kids and their grandkids and such. Now, me owning this Ruger does not mean that this is the best 22 out there. By far, there are tons of little semi-automatic or lever action or even bolt action 22s on the market. You have Henry's famous for its lever action 22s, and honestly, they've got a reason to be famous for the lever action 22s. Their lever action guns are remarkable. Remington makes one that's probably $100 at Walmart, give or take. Again, the Rugers are around the 200 range, depending on which body you want on it, whether you get the synthetic one, whether you get the tactical, all black looking one. And yes, I said tactical, not tactical, because that's pretty much what it is nowadays. Or you get the one that looks like your grandpa's gun that, has probably been sitting in a closet forever. I personally like this one, but then again, I'm an old man. So, what makes a Ruger 1022 a 1022? Other than the name. And that's the first point I'm going to go over on why I like this gun. This is the magazine for a Ruger 1022. And this is actually what gives it the 10 and the 22. It's not the model number. It's not, the year it was made or anything like that, like some firearms are. No. The 10 and the 1022 comes from this 10-shot magazine. The Ruger makes a 1017, and again has this 10-shot magazine. And this is probably the highlight of this gun. This rotary magazine, I wish I'd brought a couple rounds down here to load it up with. Cartridges, rounds, bullets, whatever you want to call them. But this is probably the best design for a magazine there is. It's a rotary magazine. You load it through the top. And again, I didn't bring any ammo down here to load it. But you load it through the top. And when it's loaded, little Ruger logo right there. Little Ruger logo. It literally just slides in. It's the easiest magazine there is. To release it, you have a thumb release here, and it just releases. To tell which way you're putting it in, there's a little notch right there, and it fits into a notch right there. Literally, in and out. It takes a second to load one of these. I love it. I think that's probably the best magazine there is. Now, number 2 reason why to go with the Ruger 1022 over the massive market of 22s that are out there is the aftermarket parts. This is a Butler Creek Hot Lips 25 round magazine. Now, Ruger makes them as well. And I wish I'd got the Ruger ones because the Hot Lip ones are a plastic feed. They're a plastic feeder. The Ruger ones are metal, and I wish I'd gotten the metal ones because the metal ones don't jam up as much. These things jam, I can't even put 25 rounds in because these things jam up so bad. But now I have a 25 round 1022, and it pops out just as easy. Matter of fact, I have 2 of them that pop in and out just as easy. Now, the cool thing about the aftermarket parts, and trust me, there are tons of them for the 1022, is look, I can put the magazines together. And you can do a tactical reload. I now have 50 rounds right here in my hand if these were loaded. I would have 50 rounds in my hand that I could easily pop, 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 pop. Granted, I could do a lot. But, yeah. The aftermarket parts for this rifle are abundant. They are a great suppressor host. So for those of you who are in a state where you're allowed to have suppressors, or you want to go ahead and do the, I think it's like a $200 tax stamp here in North Carolina to get a suppressor. These things are great suppressor to get the end threaded and put a suppressor on it. And then you could fire it all day long in a neighborhood like this, and they probably wouldn't think it was more than a cap gun, to be honest with you. With a suppressor and subsonic ammo, you could fire it in a neighborhood like this, and probably nobody would know it. The number 3 reason I like this gun over the rest of them, if we can zoom in and see right there, this is made in America. This is an American-made rifle right there. That's the 3rd reason why I like it. Now, don't get me wrong, the Remingtons and Henrys are made in the USA, of course, because, if it's not made in America, it's not made in all. I know that's Henry's slogan, and they are absolutely damn good guns. But for Ruger, this gun is made in the US. It's made in the States. It's made in Newport. So, New Hampshire, but it's made in America, even though it's New Hampshire. But I love the little gun. It's made here. Let's support American business. Let's support American industry, and let's go with it. The 4th reason I like it, it's a small gun. It's easy to maneuver. The trigger It's not loaded. We'll safety check it. Not loaded. It's easy. Let's do a fire, reset. There's your brake. Fire, reset. There's your brake. The trigger pull on this thing is super good. It also has a safety. So, not a problem with that. If you're looking for a gun with a safety, it's small, it's compact, it's a 22, so there's no recoil whatsoever. This is something that you could give to a young one, 10, 11 years old, as their first rifle. Give them the basics, teach them how to fire it safely, teach them how to properly handle it, and let them loose shooting bushy tails and hippity hops, and they could probably tear up the woods and keep themselves occupied until, you know, they're old enough to get something bigger. But that's another reason why I like it. I just love this little gun. It's easy to do. It's easy to shoot. It's easy to handle. It's easy to clean. Something else you got to remember. You got to clean your guns. So it's easy to clean. It's easy for my wife to handle. My wife really, she's not skittish around guns. She shoots a handgun. She owns 2 handguns. But for rifles, the whole getting the cheek weld in, and I'm trying to look at the camera and fire at the same time, getting the whole cheek weld in to line it up, she's not comfortable doing that. She is she's getting better with rifles. But for something like this is a good trainer rifle to get your spouse or your child who maybe has not had a lot of experience, especially if it's a child, around rifles. This is a good trainer rifle to get somebody into. The sights. I love the buckhorn sights. My only dislike about the sights, and let's see if I can zero in on the sights. That's the back sight. The front sight is just a standard rail sight with a little brass bead. It lines up rather well, and you can adjust, as I hit the camera, you can adjust for elevation as well, which is kind of nice. Windage, tap it with a mallet, and actually, I want to say Ruger has a brass drift that you can buy from them, and you can tap it. That's exactly how you adjust it for windage, but it does have an adjustment for elevation. You adjust these 2 little screws right there. 2 tiny little screws right there. You can barely see it versus my finger. For elevation, I haven't had to adjust this yet, and I've got it zeroed in at 25 yards, and I haven't had a problem with it. But I haven't gone out hunting with it yet. So let's see, next year I'm probably going to take it out and go after some bushy tails, and we'll see what happens. See if I have to adjust anything. My dislikes about this gun. I do not like, if I can get it on camera here, I do not like this bolt release. I fight with it every time. That's probably the easiest time. The one time on camera, of course, is when it's easy. I fight with this thing every time to get it. See, there we go. It locks. I will fight with this thing every time. I do not like the bolt release. The second thing I dislike about it, and this is me personally, and it might be my eyes, it might be, I do not like the big white diamond in the middle of the rear sight. To me, it gets in the way of me seeing the bead. I can't see the bead over the big white diamond. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and most of the time, honestly, I put the rear buckhorn sight down, and I shoot through the 2 bolts, and I line up the bead between the 2 bolts and shoot that way. I may take black marker or black fingernail polish and mark over that diamond. I'm not sure yet. We'll see if I actually go out hunting with it. The only other issue I have, and it's not with the rifle, it's with the ammo. The fact that 22 ammo is, a lot of it's so bulk made that sometimes it likes to jam up. Especially out of these, it'll jam up. It'll double feed, it'll crush the heads on them, and it'll jam up. Last time I was at the range, I actually had to get the safety officer over there with his knife to help pry a round out because it had gotten jammed, and we actually had to pry the live round out of the rifle barrel because, well, it was stuck. But again, that's the ammo, not the gun. The gun is a damn good gun. I've got this is probably user error. The bolt release is probably a user error issue more than it is a issue with the gun. And the sight is probably a me-ism. Does it fire? Oh, God, yes. God, yes. This thing fires like a dream. At 25 yards, I can cut the center out of a target. And I've got a few targets upstairs that I pretty much have, cut the center out of a target at 25 meters. So, yes, it shoots like a dream. Will it go after bushy tails? Oh, God, yes. Am I happy I bought this rifle? Oh, God, yes. Do I have a lot of ammo through it? Not really. I have about 250, maybe 300 rounds of ammo through this current rifle. Not a lot for 22 stake. But the only place I can shoot at the moment is an indoor range, and shooting at a paper target's kind of boring after a while. I'd like to set up a range where I can actually plink at metal targets and stuff like that, and enjoy my rifle a little more than just shooting at a paper silhouette. But it is what it is. I can get the basics down. I can make sure my techniques are still good. And hopefully I can go after some squirrels next year. Because this year I think I'm not going to be around for it. But, yeah. For those of you who want the additional gizmos and gadgets and whizmos and all that stuff, it is tapped for optics. If you want to put a red dot, if you want to put a scope, you can put a sling on it. Not that you would want to. I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could. But again, it's lightweight. I could carry this thing all day and probably not have an issue. And I'm pretty much a wimp, and I could carry it all day without an issue. So, yeah, that would be my, darn bug, again, outside. That will be my Ruger 1022 review, and I'm going to give it a hell of a lot of thumbs up because it's a good gun. I like it. And if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have bought it. So, there you go. There's a positive review on a very old gun. It's been around a while. But there is my review on the Ruger 1022. It's a good gun. It's a good first gun. There's a lot of modifications you can make to it to make it your gun if you choose to buy one. So thank you for watching the Ruger 1022 review. I know it was long and boring, and you had to put up with my various pauses and ums and ahs and horrible speech and everything else. But if you've continued to watch this long, I thank you. We'll do more gun reviews in the past. Hopefully I can get to the range and I can do some recording there. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell icon to be notified when I release another one. And as always, I thank you for watching and have a good day.